Hello everyone, welcome back. In this lesson, we'll start to write code for our Lagoon project. And we will start to write the front-end code first. That is the Angular 2 part, okay? Now, remember in the previous lessons, we talked about Angular 2 environment setup, and we also start the application by typing npm start to bootstrap the Angular 2 environment. And after that, we can come to the localhost column 3000 port, this URL, and we will see my first Angular 2 app welcome message. Okay, so we're gonna use that as our base to write the Angular 2 code. But before that, let's take a look at our diagram from the system view. So for the front end, we'll have the navigation bar component and the home components and the image detail components and miscellaneous components. Okay, so let's start from the home components first. That is the home page. All right, so bring up your Atom editor and come to the front end application. Okay, now remember we reroute the automatically generated JavaScript and JavaScript mapping files previously to a new folder called build. Okay, so we can write whatever TypeScripts in this application folder, and system will automatically generate the JS and the JS.map files in the build folder. All right. Okay, let's first right click on the app folder, say new file, and then create a home component, home component.ts. And first we're gonna import component from Angular 2/core. So this import statement is pretty much everywhere in each component. And the basic structure is that we're gonna need a annotation. Oops, it's the wrong. We want the parentheses and the curly braces. Under that, we're gonna have the export class, and this will be the home component. All right. So that's the basic structure. And then we're gonna write selector, make it simple. Let's just call it home. And then we're gonna do a template URL. That's gonna be using the external template instead of the inline template. So a template basically is a HTML file. All right. So let's expand the app folder and right click on it and create a new folder called components. All right. Then we drag the home components file into that components folder. All right. Now we have the components folder. And then we right click on the components folder, new file, and name the new file home.component.html. So basically, you can see here we have referenced this component to your external HTML file, which will be under application folder, components folder, and then home.component.html. You can see the naming convention. Whatever the component name it is, I basically replace the TS with HTML so that I can tell they are related as HTML and the component files. All right. And another good practice is you want to name the class name as first letter capitalized, and also you want to name the file name using lowercase. All right. And if we look back at our diagram, we have the home component here, alright? And under home component, we have photo list and side panel. And under side panel, there is photo row. So it basically goes down like that. That's the basically, how Angular 2 is designed to be. So Angular 2 is promoting the modular design. That is to say, a application consists of different modules, and there will be modules, submodules, and submodules of modules. So it's like hierarchical structure goes down from the first main branch, goes to different child branches. So all those branches and components build up the application. So we have the main for home, and then its first child for photo list, and side panel as the first level child as well, and this one will be the second level child component. Alright, so let's come back to our atom, and even though we haven't developed yet, but let's try to import the child component. One is called photo list, and I'm going to import it from photo-list.component. Okay, and we're going to import another one called side panel. Side panel component. So basically, I will be writing those components later, and the way to do that is that this dot basically means it's the current level or current folder. I'll put them in parallel with this home component as well. I will name it as like this, but you can see there's no .ts here because Angular 2 can automatically recognize those files as TS by default, so we don't have to write the file extension here. Alright, and once we imported the components, we need to mark the directives here so that we can use them. Photo list side panel. Again, I'm not gonna go to explain all those details here because that's gonna take a lot of time to cover. I've already developed the Angular 2 fundamental course, and if you want to understand it well, you just go to take that course. It's pretty straightforward and easy to follow, and doesn't take that long time because I just focus on the the basic part to get started. And then in that course, we're gonna develop the whole front end, the Lagoon project. I mean, pretty much the same thing there. It's just in that course, the Lagoon project is by itself. Okay, so I'm using Angular to provide the mock data. But here, I'm integrating between the front end and back end. Okay, so all those details will be explained in those courses. If you get confused, go take that course first. It's pretty straightforward. All right. And then we come to the HTML part. So here I'm going to write some simple HTML. So in this course, I'll be using a front-end framework instead of Bootstrap because a lot of people are already familiar with Bootstrap. And here I'll be using a framework called Semantic UI. So if you open your browser and type in Semantic UI, so here's the page, and you can see in the GitHub already there are 25,000 stars on it, so it's very popular. And the idea behind the Semantic UI and Bootstrap is pretty much the same. Once you're familiar with one of the framework, the other one is pretty much the same way to use it. It's just they have different components and a little bit different design philosophy. So I personally prefer this one better, but I don't know about the Bootstrap 4.0, which is coming out soon. That might be a different thing in that case. But right now, let's just use this Semantic UI thing. All right. So if you're interested in the other course, I have one lesson to go through the basics of the semantic UI. So if you're interested in semantic UI, you can take a look at it here. Alright, let's continue to write the HTML code. So the UI is the keyword for semantic UI. So you can see here we are using a grid system. That's gonna define the layout of the page. We're gonna make it a 12 wide column for the first part. Oops. And we're gonna use another div and make it 4 wide column. We're gonna call it set panel. So basically, a whole row consists of 16 columns by default, based on semantic UI. And then I divide in two different parts. One part is for photo list display, and one part is for side panel. Okay, and here you can see I'm using a tag called photo-list. So that's basically the selector we named in the components. So for example, here we have a home component, and then we make the selector name as home. So if I want to refer to this component in HTML, we can simply say we can directly put the selector name and inside the angle bracket. That's how you reference the component. And then when Angular 2 is running, those tags here will eventually be replaced by the component template and the corresponding parameters. Alright, so let's just pause here for this lesson. We'll continue in the next one. See you guys in the next video. Bye.